Regular Board of Finance meeting, May 27th, 2026, 7:02. We're going to get started. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
with justice,
liberty and justice for all. We'll just, yeah. Okay, everybody, welcome.
Over.
We have right. We have a lot on our agenda tonight, so we're going to try to get through it. Obviously, the first thing is a round of public speak. So I'm going to go around. I'm just going to go through the list here of whoever I've got. So first up on my list is Scott Person.
I'm good for now, Rob. Thank you.
All right, very good. It keeps moving on me. Alex is up next.
Just here to listen.
Very good. Thank you. Linda Derrick.
Hi. I'd like to briefly present the outcome of a petition that 7 of us voters worked on for the last few days. We have 86 signatures. And I'll just read it very quickly. We, the undersigned residents of Andover, respectfully submit this petition to the Board of Finance for your consideration regarding the proposed budget for the Andover Elementary School. We urge the board to reconsider the current budget proposal and take the necessary steps to reduce the increase to a maximum of 3.5%. This adjustment is essential to ensure a responsible fiscal balance that reflects the needs and priorities of all of our community. A budget aligned with this percentage not only promotes financial accountability, but also supports the overall well-being of all of our residents. So we had 86 good conversations about this issue. And the 2 points that I want to make from those conversations. Number one, that we're talking about the pie, the tax pie of Andover, the overall pie. And right now, I know it's still fluxing, but with RAM being 30%, the school being 37%, leaving 32% of all tax monies for the running of the whole rest of the town, does not seem fiscally sound. So we ask that you consider this and appreciate your work and hope for the best for you on all of our behalf. Thank you.
Thanks, Linda. But just everybody, can you please make sure you're muted? Because I'm hearing a little background noise. I'm not sure where that's coming from. If you're not speaking, I mean.
You're not speaking, yeah.
And sorry, just for the last thing, I'm going to scan the petition pages to you all tomorrow. Kate was not in today, so I'll use her scanner tomorrow to get the actual pages to you. Okay.
Up next is Anna.
Good evening. I'm just listening in tonight. I wanted to say thank you to the Board of Finance before the elections for providing just the line item breakdown of the salaries for the town. I have a follow-up just regarding the maintenance salaries, just in general, that I'm going to follow up with. And so I'm going to renew my request again for line item breakdown of all the salaries for the Andover Elementary School budget. And that's it for this evening. Thank you.
Ann Creme.
I have nothing right now. Thank you.
All right, Ann, thanks. Caitlin.
Hi. I missed the beginning of the meeting. Sorry, just got home from work, so I'm not sure exactly what I missed in public comment so far, but just wanted to say I don't envy you guys at all. I know you have a really hard job before you. I do know that whatever you end up cutting from the school budget will directly affect the kids. It will directly affect, the number of classroom teachers that we have or the number of paras that we have. That's the point that we're at in the budget, that we will have to make those decisions after you guys tell us what we're allowed to have or not have. And I'm obviously don't want to be in your shoes or in your position. It does look like the corrected number of votes, in terms of too high or too low. There were 50 votes less for saying the school budget was too high than there were for the town budget being too high. I think that's correct on the corrected numbers. It just seems like you guys are at a very narrow margin of stuff. So thank you.
Okay, sorry. The next person up on the list is Carol Savage. Going once, going twice. Oh,
Am I here? I think I'm here, right?
yes.
Okay. I'm just listening in. I don't really have a lot of input. I just thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Uh.
Charlene Del Mastro.
I'm all set. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, Diane Grenier.
I just want to thank the 33% of voters who came out, took time from their busy day to come out and vote yesterday. And I hope the other 67% of the voters that did not come out like how we're deciding how to spend their tax dollars. I wish you guys all the best of luck. I know you have a hard job, and thank you very much for all you do.
Thank you, Diane. The next up is listed as Dr. Patricia Kelly.
You need to unmute, Patricia.
Okay, there I am. No, I have no comment. I just want to support the petition that Linda mentioned earlier. Thank you.
Very well. Next up is Elizabeth Partridge.
Yeah, I'd just like the Board of Finance to consider the total cost of each area of the budget, regardless of the sources, because many of these sources are one-time and can and will disappear in future years. So we have to have a clear view of what our total expenses are and then what our total sources of income are. Thank you for your work.
Thank you. All right. iPhone 2, which I think we established as Kathy.
No comment. Thank you.
Very good. Joanne.
Hello, everyone. Just a quick comment. I mean, we know that Andover's not alone in going through this kind of process. All of our surrounding towns are doing the same thing. I know that it's a hard job, like you said, and you'll have to come to some kind of understanding. Unfortunately, I had many ideas in the past, but I know you're limited at what you could go for. So I'm hoping, since you were very kind of frugal and limited and cautious when you did put some of the fund unallocated, or I forget what we call it, the fund balance, the leftover that's already been taxed, that we have quite a bit of money in there. We don't have a lot of emergencies. We're going to be getting refunded from the Bunker Hill Bridge project, whether that's been done or not. So I'd love to see you guys, whatever you decide tonight on the education budget, and I know that decisions will be made, to maybe give the taxpayers another 50 from there. I think going a total of 150 from there would help the overall picture as well. And the taxpayers deserve that too. Thank you.
Thanks, Joanne, for your thoughts. Julie Godet.
Just listening. Thank you.
Very good. Caitlin Dalby.
I'm all set. Thank you.
Very good. Thanks. Kathy Barrett.
Hi. Thanks for the opportunity to participate. This is my first Board of Finance meeting. Noticing, as was just said, that this is not just our problem. This is echoed in towns all around, including there's a big article in the Hartford Courant today about exactly this. I wondered whether we might consider the possibility of doing what some towns have done, and that is to try and decrease the distrust that seems to be very much a part of our current school and town budget negotiations by reaching out to a qualified, well-credentialed professional who might be able to, for a very reasonable expenses or for very reasonable expenditure, offer a informed look at the ways in which the school budget in particular, but the town budget in as well, could be evaluated for efficiency and recommendations made to support you on the Board of Finance, who I agree with everyone who said you have a very hard job ahead of you. And so I'm hoping that's something that might be considered, hiring a specialist to advise. Thank you.
Thank you. Kevin Regan, sorry.
Thank you. Given the flyer that went out, it's hard to tell if the results yesterday were the result of critical thinking or the result of some people believing that each of the 15 new kids coming actually costs $80,000. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's what some people have stated that they were under the impression of. So I don't know what to think other than there obviously has been sowed a lot of mistrust with the school board. And I think it would be great if all the books were completely opened and you got to see what they spent on a bottle of Windex. But that's just where I stand. When I saw the results of the RAM election passing by quite a good margin and the Andover elementary budget failing by about the same margin, it made me realize that there's just a huge amount of distrust with what's going on.
Thank you. Linda, Derek?
I already talked to you. Remember?
Oh, apology. I'm sorry. The everybody, I
Do you want me
apologize
to go
on
over
this
it
one.
again? Do you want me to
No. The listing of participants keeps shifting on me. I apologize.
It's okay.
Lisa, hi. Glad you made it. Our town treasurer is here. Do you have anything to add to our discussion at this time?
Just listening as usual.
Very good. I hope you got your spreadsheets ready.
Sure.
Okay, let's see. Marcy.
Hi, I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay, good to see you. Let's see. Scott Soyette.
Hi, folks. I'm not here tonight to relitigate the referendum. The vote happened, and now this board has to decide what to do next. I'm here to ask you one thing. Please don't read Tuesday's results as a mandate to cut the Andover elementary budget deeply. I say that because the public conversation about this budget has not matched what the data actually shows. I want to put 3 facts on the record, sourced from state and town records. State and town documents, I guess. First, Andover spends less per pupil than any of the 44 other small town elementary only districts in Connecticut. Not less than most, the very least. The source is the State Department of Education's own EdSite portal. The full report is published on my own website, andoverct.info, along with other related reports. Second, the Andover preschool program is not a drain on town finances. It is funded by tuition and the State Office of Early Childhood Grants. It runs from a separate program account and is approximately revenue neutral to the town. If we didn't have it, the town would have to cover preschool special education on its own, which costs more than the program does. In net, the preschool saves Andover about $100,000 per year. Third, the superintendent's compensation including the contractual raise in the new agreement, is in line with and is likely well below the salaries of similar districts. A more rigorous comparison would require collecting individual contracts from peer districts. I'm working on that right now, but I haven't got it done. Those are facts. They were available before the referendum. They will still be the facts when this board reconvenes to set a revised budget. One more thing on the record. The Board of Education built this budget through a months-long public process. Meetings were public, packets were posted, and anyone who wanted to weigh in had months in which to do it. The budget that emerged reflected real deliberation. A district that already spends less per pupil than every comparable district in the state does not have meaningful facts to cut. Fat to cut, oh boy. Cuts at this point come out of the classrooms. We simply don't need classes with more than 25 students. Whatever this board decides, please decide it on the basis of what the school actually costs to operate, not on the basis of public conversation that has diverged sharply from the underlying numbers. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. Val, would you like to make a public comment?
Sure. So a couple of things. First of all, I get very sad for the kids when they have to take the school bus and go by signs that say, Save Andover, vote no to AES. They shouldn't have to see the division. They shouldn't have to feel like their school doesn't matter and that they don't matter. And a lot of people who are new to town may think that this is brand new. I arrived in 2020. I can tell you that from 2015 to 2020, the school budget was decreased every single year to the tune of $418,000. And when I got here in 2020, they told me that I was lucky that year that I got a 0% increase. And the conversation at many Board of Selectmen meetings was not about preschool. It was about how do we close AES and send our kids to Bolton. So the idea of the importance of AES, it's been longstanding that people in the town, and I respect that 87 people signed a petition, but 343 people voted yes yesterday, despite the fact that they knew that it was an increase. So I would request that the board look at history, look at the fact that the taxpayers, all of the taxpayers, pay into those fund balances, that this is not new. This is a long-standing battle to just show the respect to the elementary school and the fact that the town itself absolutely loves all of the families in town and respects the budgets. And lastly, last year we were cut $160,000 of the ask, and we were very open and honest last year about saying that that would affect this year because they were necessities. And so that is why this year came in higher than we had also hoped. So I would just implore the whole board to keep all of these factors in mind when making a decision. Thank you.
Wally, you want to make a public comment on the budget? We'll get to your fire department request in a bit.
No, I'll just wait for that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. I think you're there twice. So I think that's everyone now. If I missed anyone, please do speak up. As I said, my screen, the list kept moving on me. And if I missed someone, I do apologize. Speak now. Okay. Given that, the next thing on the agenda is changes, additions. What I'd like to do, folks on the board, is move Wally up. He's right now, the fire department request is at 6A. I'd like to move that up and make it 4A and make the town administrator's report. I don't even know, is Matt here tonight? But we can make that 4B if that's okay with everybody on the board. So we can, if Wally wants to take off after that, he can. Anybody have an objection to that?
No, I think that's a great idea.
All right. Well, I'll just formally move that we do that. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Let's take a quick vote. Bill?
Yes.
Okay. Nick?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Liz?
Yes.
Louise?
Yes.
Heather?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Okay, motion passes 7-0 to move 6A to 4A, which we will then move to immediately. I'll just open by saying that this proposal came through CIP. We've looked at it. The fire department has a compressor that fills their air tanks. It's getting very long in the tooth, and they're having more maintenance problems with it. And Wally went out, the fire department went out and got 3 quotes. I believe the first 2 quotes were about 100,000 each in that general vicinity, but the third one came in at 65, and that is the one that is in our packet. Can somebody mute whatever that is?
Yeah,
Okay.
I got it. Sorry.
No problem. So I'll turn it over to Wally for a quick explainer. But the request is to authorize the fire department's request to utilize the fire equipment fund to purchase that piece of equipment. Wally, you want to add anything for us?
No, it's again, it was purchased in 92. It's again showing its age. Things are starting to fail. We're having trouble getting a mechanic that can work on it because the technology has changed so much in 34 years. And again, it's a high pressure air compressor that purifies breathing air for our self-contained breathing apparatus. The bid of $65,289.93 was the lowest of the 3. We received one from MES out of Waterford for $110, another one from a company in New Jersey that manufactures compressors, and that was at $109. And when this came in at $65, it was kind of like there's no real question. And we've spoken to a couple of places that have this type of compressor, and they're happy with it. So we think this is a good move for the town.
Thanks, Wally. And just a follow-up question on that is, that price is still good, right? We haven't.
As of right now, yes.
Okay. So if we authorize that exact amount, you're good to go?
I would suggest the 66 just to be on the safe side.
Fair enough. I mean, that's my take. Anybody on the board have questions for Wally or me about this one?
Wally, can you send us the other 2 estimates just so that we have them for our?
Okay, yeah, I'll have to dig them up because I haven't been using them since I went to CIP and they accepted this one. This is really the only one that I've been dealing with. I will dig them up and I will get them in the system for you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else on the board have any questions regarding this request?
No, I was going to say the same thing as Liz did, that we probably should have the 3 of them.
Sure, we could for the record, basically. Yeah.
Sure.
But as Wally said, when we were at CIP, when we originally discussed it, I think we only had one of the original quotes. It was about that 110 figure, and that's what we were looking at. And then this third one came in, and it was kind of huzzah. So what I would say is, do we want to go ahead and anybody want to make a motion to approve the fire department request to take up to $66,000 from the fire equipment fund for this purpose?
How much is in the fire equipment fund?
Fair question. My recollection, and I don't have it in front of me because I'd have to dig it up again. Lisa had given us a spreadsheet a while back in PDF form, but there's I think a few $100,000 in there, and then we load money in there every year to make sure that we're paying for the lease on the fire truck. There should be more than enough in there to cover this, but one of the things that after we get through this budget cycle, one of the things I really want to tighten up on is having some sort of document or some sort of spreadsheet or some sort of rolling informational document that tells us maybe quarterly at least what all our fund balances are. But right now, off the top of my head, I don't have the exact figure. Lisa, if you do, let me know.
Yeah, I do believe I brought it home.
Liz,
but I have to find it. Oh, Liz, you have it?
Yeah, so I have that in front of me.
Yeah, that's the one.
And it's showing that in QuickBooks, the QuickBook balance right now is 200. No, I'm lying. It's $348,054 in that
That
fund.
sounds correct. Yeah.
And then it says reserve bank balance for 54,786. How that tallies, I'm not really sure. Lisa's the professional on that.
Well, she
But
isn't
the
yet. She's still working on it.
She's working on
Yeah.
it, but
That's the right order of magnitude, though.
Yes.
That's about right. And I want to tighten this up for sure. But there's enough money in there to cover, especially with the money we're loading in, because the town budget passed, so that goes in to cover both the lease payment on the fire truck and this expenditure.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, Heather, I couldn't give you. I would love to have been able to just snap off the number. And going forward, we really need to work on that.
yep. It's been a
challenging year.
Time of turnover, and we're just trying to be patient with the changes. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Reconciling all this has been a lot.
Just happened at a bad time. That's all.
For sure. And it was certainly a cascade effect.
Yep.
So anyway, any further discussion or questions on this one?
I make the motion that we approve the $66,000 to purchase the new air compressor for the fire department backpacks.
Right. And that'll be coming out of the fire equipment fund. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Kim got it. Johnny on the spot. All right. We'll go ahead and take a vote. I think we've talked this one through. Excuse me. Heather?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Louise?
Yes.
Liz?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Me, yes. That's 7-0. Wally, you got your compressor authorization. Va con Dios. If you want to take off, by all means. Otherwise, you want to stick around for the discussion.
I appreciate you moving me up. Yesterday was a very long day for me, so it's nice to get a little sleep. Thank you very much.
Good night, sir.
Thank you, Wally.
Take care.
Okay, so having made that change to the agenda, 4B was administrator report. I don't know if we have our administrator, though, so we might just be moving past that.
I don't see him.
So I'll have to get in touch with Matt on that. All right. Old business. Main event. So we have the budget referendum discussion. We know the results. If memory serves from doing math last night, the AAS budget failed about 56-44, something along those lines. My understanding is that the RAM operational budget failed overall. Andover voted in favor, but I believe it failed enough in Hebron that it knocked it into they'll have to go back and revise yet again. The RAM capital budget passed, the Andover town budget passed. So what we are left with is AAS and whatever the RAM Board of Ed ultimately does with their ops budget. Let's see. The next thing about that, let me just take a quick look at one more thing. Okay, so as you guys remember, last time we took a whack at this, we made a $50,000 cut. That was my idea. It did not suffice. The electorate has spoken. So what I'd like to do is open up discussion for what do we think will get this done? I certainly don't want to drag this out anymore. I want to get this thing through. I want to get it passed.
So I'd like
thoughts.
I'd like to speak.
Go ahead, Louise.
Okay. I 100% support Linda's effort for that petition at the 3.5% increase. We work for the town. Well, we're volunteers for the town, and we work for the people in the town. And the people have spoken twice to us, stating that the AES budget is too high. Regardless of the counts, it's too high. So we need to do our civic duty and appease our fellow people in our town because they came out to vote, and we have a duty to abstain what they expect from us. So I really like that 3.5%. I don't know how everyone else feels about it, but the 87 people also decided that that was a very good amount. And again, I thank Linda for all her effort in doing that, because that was a lot of work, I'm sure. Thank you, Linda.
So I have a comment too. I mean, I'll just, I appreciate all the work that she must have gone through. But my concern is more, how did we get here? And so I just wanted to talk about how we got here, where we are this year with, you know, the need, the 11% ask that was asked for. And last year, the ask was 8.9%, and they were hoping to hire 3.1 new FTE. 2 were fourth and fifth grade teachers, and 1 was a math interventionist, I believe. And after the budget failed, the Board of Finance went back and gave them a 5% increase. I rewatched the Board of Ed's meeting after that to figure out how they were going to get to that $160 some odd cut, and kind of thought there would be discussion about what do we do? We're wanting to hire 3 new people. How do we make this happen? Is it prudent to hire 3 new people? But that discussion didn't happen. The discussion that happened was, what areas can we basically subtract money from? And knowing that we'll probably be in a deficit, we can fall back on the 2% non-lapsing rainy day fund. And I personally have a problem with that take on it. I think the fact that they did not discuss, maybe we can't afford to hire 3 new teachers this year. Maybe we only hire 2. And I understand, class sizes and whatnot. I know the 4th grade class is a much larger group. I totally get that. And then the current 5th grade class is 25, I think. The class moving on to 6th grade is going to be 25 anyway. I don't know how they manage their classes during the day, but I would imagine that 5th and 6th grade classes don't sit in the same room all day. I'm sure that they're preparing with trading classes and whatnot. But anyway, my point is, they totally ignored that. And now we're in a position where we need to feel bad if we cut their budget. I don't know. I question the prudence of it, and I question the legality of going forth with a budget, knowing that you're going to be in a deficit. I know there's other options. Before I get to that, the other thing that I want to point out is I sent you all the Board of Ed's latest May financial report, because we usually get it in our packet and we didn't get it. I tried to get it to Kate so she could upload it, but she's out today anyway. And as it stands right now, with their current expenditures and encumbrances, as of right now, they have a balance. They would have a balance of about $56,000, which I was kind of surprised. I know they're going to be asking for the 97.5 from the 2.2% non-lapsing. But regardless, separate from that, it appears at this point that there's a $56,000 balance. So that, combined with the difficulty in response, in getting the data and the information we've asked for, I don't feel like we have a full accounting of really what they have or what they need. And I would support the 3.5%. That's where I'm coming from. And I'll let somebody else chime in. I'd like to
I'll
hear
chime
how
in.
other people feel.
I'll chime in. I agree with a lot of what Liz is saying. Like, with if the school didn't do anything last year and hired the teachers anyways, and I see that they have a $50,000 balance. That's really good. But I don't think I really agree with the 3.5 because a lot of their increase is due to benefits, and the 3.5 wouldn't even really cover the increase in benefits. And that's not just the school they have to take that benefit increase. So I think we need to at least cover that. And I don't think we need to appease the town people. We need to work and figure out what we want to do. And I think for going forward, the school and the finance, like everybody needs to work together better. Like this was horrible. So,
yeah,
you know, we need to find a way forward better. We need to have a good school. We need to have transparency. So it's been really hard for the new people on here to figure out what is really needed. I know we're going to need to cut, but I don't support the 3.5 because I don't think that even covers their benefit increase this year. And so I think they're going to need more than that, but that's it.
Can I weigh in a little bit here? Hi.
Well, it's not public speak.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I won't.
I ask a clarifying question on the report you sent, Liz. I don't know who the right person to answer this is, but we have expended year to date. This is account activity as of 6/30 calendar date, right? Until for fiscal year end of June or July?
June 30th.
Okay, thank you.
The fiscal year, right?
Yep. Yep.
So Nick, what are your thoughts on this?
I think we're in a hard spot as well. I do know I kind of did some math similar to Heather's. We got a salary increase for all staff. If you take the 5% there, you take the benefits. I mean,
3%.
And you take the psychologist. I'm seeing an increase for the school side with all that of at least, I would say 400,000. So, and I'm looking at, that's why I asked the clarifying question. I wanted to make sure I had the actual data. I did it from actuals to date, and I kind of just did quick math right now on projected and actuals and what the total expense would be. So I could see how that would be. I could see how we would have to go up on a lot of those accounts just from a standpoint of we have actuals in front of us and we have the salaries in front of us and we know what we do about the benefit package and we know what we do about the salaries currently.
So we have to come up with a number that the taxpayers will accept. And I think this board obviously is not going to accept 3.5. But we certainly don't want to start from a high point and end up having to come back here because it costs $3,000 every time we do. Every time we do a.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Absolutely.
Can I say
that will
something
work.
too?
Liz, were you done? Because then by all means.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Heather, I agree with you. It's been a tough budget season. I'm going to go back to where we started, where I said that a lot of taxpayers had contacted me over the course of the last season and said 2 to 4%, 2 to 4%. And you guys said, let's let the voters decide.
Mm-hmm.
So they did.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did again.
Mm-hmm.
So as tough as it is, I am more comfortable with the 3.5% to be fair to everyone. And I know this is tough. It's been very, very tough. But I think we need to listen. And this is information that I had from a lot of people before I even heard about this petition that our community people did, which thank you for all of you that did that. And I think for now, I'll just end it with that.
So
we want to make a motion for the 3.5 and
I would like
see where
to
it
speak
goes.
before-
Oh, go ahead, Bill. Go ahead, Bill.
So I think everybody knows, as Heather and Nick just said, the increase in the cost of insurance alone wouldn't be covered by 3.5%. The increase in the teacher's salary, mandatory contractual salary, of 3%. The $45,000 for the lost grant for the psychiatrist. These are not fluff, icing on the cake, made up things. Okay. So if you don't cover those increases, you're going to take more away from what they had last year. Whatever they had last year, something has to go away. Not adding new things this year. Things have to go away. So we offer less of education next year than we did this year, is what you're saying. We're not even going to cover their costs. Listen, I don't like paying taxes more than anybody else. But you're talking about slashing our kids' education. And I've heard everybody on this call, everybody on the board of ed, everybody on the board of selectmen, oh, we love our kids. We support education. But 3.5%, you know that doesn't even come close to covering the cost increases, contractual increases. So you're being irresponsible to say 3.5% because you know you're going to slash into the school's ability to function. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Can I make a comment?
You can have with a conscious, actually, I'm still speaking. I don't know how you can have a conscious and say 3.5% when you know, I mean, there's people out there in the community that don't know all the facts. There's all kinds of talk going on this way and that way, but everybody on this board knows that those are real increases that have to be covered. You know that. So 3.5%, what are you going to tell Val and the Board of Ed that she has to throw out the window that's there this year?
I'd like to make a comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
We don't really know that, Bill, because we don't have all the information. So
come on.
How do you know? Well, how do you know that it's not going to cover? Do you have the dollar amounts in front of you saying, okay, it's this amount and this amount and this amount? And what about all those other things that we requested and we don't know? We don't know. The transparency isn't there. So we're guessing. That's my point on it.
Can I chime in at this point? I mean, obviously, I wanted to let everybody have their say. I didn't want to dominate this discussion. My hope tonight was that we could arrive at a figure as a board. I hoped we could find a consensus where maybe we could even all agree on and take that to the town and get a budget passed. And I was not hoping that the start would be at 3.5. I'll admit that. I also recognize, however, that the cut we made last time was insufficient, that it wouldn't, and making another small cut like that won't get it done. I am perfectly willing to be reasonable about that and try to find a way. Is the last thing I want is to fail at referendum again. So, I have some numbers in my head, but at the end of the day, what it really boils down to is what is the overall number that this town can stomach? Right now, we're just a touch over 5 million for that budget. The increase at this point, after we made our last cut, right, is 448 and change, just about $450,000. If you did 3.5, right, that's an increase of about 160 over last year. If you did 7.5, which at one point this board recommended, that's an increase of 342, 409, so just shy of 350. They're at 450 now. So my thinking going into tonight was that we could make a cut somewhere in the range of 100,000 to 150 off of where they are now. The cut that you're talking about is so drastic that I can't honestly, I can't support that, even though I really want to get a budget passed and I really want to be responsive to the to the referendum results. I'd like to find a place between where they're at now, plus 450, and what you're talking about. As I said, the 3.5 is up plus about 160. Somewhere between those two, I'd love to find common ground if we could. And, as much as we can get into the weeds about this or that or the other specifics, at the end of the day, what it matters, the top line number is what we're here to talk about and try to find a way that we can compromise on this and then hopefully pass it through. So, and the other thing I'd just like to throw out there, I know this is not specifically the topic of AES, but as you all know, RAM will have to come back and revise their budget again. So that's out there. I don't know what they're going to do, but that's a factor as well. And that, any decision they make there would change our levy. So that was sort of my thinking. I absolutely agree that the referendum results barely budged. I think the first time it was 58-42, and this time it was 56-44. They're basically, in line with make another cut. So I'm with you. Liz, go right ahead.
I just wanted to touch on something Bill had said, that they have contractual increases that it's not even going to cover. Well, that's the school's responsibility. That's the Board of Ed's responsibility. Like I said, last year, their budget was cut and they completely disregarded that cut and hired those people anyway. So they locked in those new contracts for 3 new hires. And now we're having to deal with it. And they want to hire a new teacher for 6th grade in this new budget for a class that's going to have 25 kids, a class of 25 6th graders that probably don't even all sit in the same class at the same time. I'm sure they move around. So there's got to be some give and take. And for them to just disregard the budget that we gave them and say, well, hire these people, we'll figure it out next year. And that's what happened. So don't get angry when we try to have a conversation about maybe a 3.5. And I'm not saying 3.5 is going to pass with us. I don't think it will. But you got to think about these things. They are the ones that are in control. And when I say they, I don't mean that in a derogatory term. I mean the Board of Ed. They're in control of the written contracts as they are, and they're in control of how many people they hire. And if they're sitting there in a Board of Ed meeting figuring out how they're going to manage their new cut budget and not even have a discussion about how can we manage the human resources that we have here right now to maybe hold off on hiring 1 or 2 of these people. That discussion did not happen. And I'm sorry, I think that's irresponsible. So we have a responsibility to be neutral and try to come up with something that the town will accept and something that they can figure out how they're gonna manage their budget.
Can I say something? So I agree with Liz. Also, their first budget came out. We proposed 7.5, and it didn't seem like there was any discussion on their end. They just said no.
They just said no.
So,
and can I make one comment?
Yeah, I think we do need to be neutral and figure it out. But everyone, I don't know. I keep coming back to we need to work together better because it just seems awful.
Right.
I agree with you, Heather.
Yeah, I agree with you too. And I'd also like to point out the fact that rejection that we got didn't even go to a full Board of Ed meeting to discuss and vote on. And I think that's wrong too.
I'm going to add to your discussion one thing. No one has discussed tuition for the pre-K and if that number is appropriate. And I like Rob talking. They are providing a phenomenal service. They have 4 certified teachers, 4 paras for those kids. And there's no discussion that I've heard that how much additional revenue could be raised by charging the parents a better, closer to fair market value. I'm not even saying get to fair market value, but if you want to sit there and be able to afford everything that the Board of Education wants to do, then you have to look at every lever. And if you're not, then you're going to keep coming back.
I mean, they can't use pre-K money for K through 6.
Oh, that was going to be my question.
Well, you know, I sit there and I go through the handbook that I was given this week, and I have an early childhood specialist. I would ask you, Rob, how much of the services for the psychologist and the occupational therapist and all of those people are being used for pre-K? So all of the things that supposedly Scott Soyette has all of this data and all this information are all questions I would like to ask. I would like that information provided to the Board of Finance so that we can sit there and make a reasonable decision. So you can't tell me that we can't increase our tuition, because I'll guarantee you there are ways that you could sit there and offset those expenditures on things that they're already being paid for. So listen, you guys got hard. This is not easy, but it is going to get harder every year, because you guys are going to end up looking at these contracts that have been signed, and you have a real problem coming down the road. And I said this last year, you know, everybody gets all mad, thinks I've been anti-school, this and that. I only got involved last year, and I got involved really late, and I wasn't loud enough. And what I said to you guys before you passed your budget last year, I said, you give it to the Board of Education, it is never coming back. So when you sit there and say, okay, I'm going to give them 7.5%, and that's the number that you allow them to sit there and utilize to sit there and set their baseline, you're not getting it back. You're not going to be able to claw it back the next year. And so what I sit there and you have to make the Board of Education work. So pull every lever that they can for the benefit of the community. Raise tuition, right? You could raise a lot of additional dollars to sit there and offset costs that are happening in that school. And then, they might have, the Board of Education might have to make a very difficult decision that nobody here really wants to do, but they might have to do it. You have set up for next year 2 teachers in every grade. So 2 pre-K, 2 first grade, 2 second grade, 2 third grade, 2 fourth grade, 2 fifth grade, 2 sixth grade. They might have to make a hard decision. Never easy. This is not easy. It's not fun. No one likes to do it. But I'm telling you, I'm sitting here telling you guys, it's unsustainable moving forward. You have to make some cuts, or we're in a lot of trouble. The town, and listen, I'd like to save the school. I just might be too late. I'm just telling you. You guys might not think about it that way, but that's how I think about it. Because I recommend highly that you guys go look at the teacher's contract that just went into place this year. Go look and see where you guys are at, and see what's going to happen in 10 years when all these young people are all at the top step. How is this town going to afford it? And then take that contract and go look at Hebron, and go look at Marlboro, and go see all those other contracts and see how it works. Because we've had a very, very poor set of decisions made on behalf of the financial status of this town. So I'm just telling you, there's other levers. You have to ask them to pull them. You cannot just give them everything that they want, because it's just not going to work long term for the town. So I'm done.
Thanks, Jeff. I actually was going to mention that too. It's on my checklist about increasing tuition. It's been $6,000 since going back at least as far as 2019, which, I mean, everything else has gone up. Why hasn't tuition? But the other thing is, we know we don't know exactly how much it's costing the general fund, but we do know that the salaries and the taxes, et cetera, are being covered under the general fund. And we're told that it's covered under the general fund because we have to cover special ed needs, but we don't know how much that dollar number is. I asked for it, and it wasn't given to us. We asked for it. We asked for an aggregate number and it wasn't given to us. We don't know how much that number is. And if they raised tuition, say even $2,000, I mean, if that would help offset the teacher's compensation, the teacher's benefits, et cetera, that would be a help as well. Anyway.
And just one thing, does anybody on the Board of Finance, before asking anyone from the Board of Education, do you guys know how many new children are going to be in between pre-K and sixth grade next year? Do you know the number? Anybody on this board? How many children are going to be added to the roster next year? The anticipated, estimated number. Anybody?
No.
My recollection, you mean what the K through 6 number will be next year?
Yeah, go ahead.
My recollection is where we were at 192 the beginning of this year. Yep. We got a big class graduating. The sixth grade class going to RAM is 29, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So they're off. I think the incoming to kindergarten is in the mid 20s, more like 25, 26, somewhere like that. The question is who moves into town with kids or whatever. I would expect personally, and it's a guesstimate, that we'd be roughly similar to last year, maybe even down a kid or two. 190-ish.
Okay.
So you're going to go down children.
I don't know if we're going to go down children. I'm saying
let's just say we're at the same number. So we're at the same number and our costs are escalating somewhere between $400,000 and $500,000. I know we're adding an extra teacher.
It would be about $26,000 a kid. Well, I mean, not if we make this cut. A teacher's not going to get added.
Well, that's basically that's the ask is I'm going to 5,013,000 and I'm adding a sixth grade or a fifth grade teacher, one of those two.
It's six.
Okay. But no increases in children.
Correct.
Right. The issue was that the 24, 25, 26, whatever it is, kids in that class, they felt educationally they needed 2 classes instead of 1. And if we cut them, I expect that's going to be on the chopping block. Yes. But at a $5 million budget, about 190 kids, and you're at about 26,000 a kid. That's the price.
Well, you guys have a very unenviable task. You have to get a budget that will get through the voters of this town. And with where you're at, you need to sit there and make it reasonable for the voters, because you have a group of voters that are there's a group of younger voters that sit there and I know what they're doing. I did it when I was in there. I just wanted a budget passed. So you're going to sit there and you got to make a cut that's sizable enough that the voters, the 80 voters that signed that petition will sit there and come and vote yes, because they're your swing vote. So
I know we have to make a cut that's going to get through, regardless of actually which group of people is the swing vote. We need to flip those referendum results. We're at 56-44 against. We need to turn that around. And I, for one, I keep saying it, I am willing to entertain a cut. I think the 3.5% proposal is too drastic, but I'm absolutely willing to try and find a way to meet in the middle, to try to find a compromise solution so that we can get this passed one last time, one last referendum, and then we're done. And then we can move on to a lot of other things that I'd really like to accomplish this year. So, financially,
I'll make a motion if we want to try to move on. I didn't mean to interrupt you if you were done.
No, you know what? That's fine. I do want to just stay focused on tasks. So go right ahead.
Okay. So I know the 3.5 is not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to make a motion for, this might not go anywhere either, but starting point. I'm going to make a motion that we accept an increase of 4% from the current year's budget.
I'm just going to do
instead of a 3%, instead of 3.5, it's 4. I gotta find my.
I'm doing the math on it, Liz, right now, just so we have the number.
Like 180,000, I think, increase.
So it would be equals this. God, there we go. Okay. Yeah, I mean it's going to be in that range because it was 160 at 3.5. So I'm just having my spreadsheets fighting me. Sorry.
You said how much was it, Heather?
This
I show it at
189.
I show
yeah, 182,
183.
182, 618.48 is what I'm getting.
I have 182, 627, so close enough.
Wow.
Close enough for discussion purposes.
For government work, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I will second that motion. Did you hear me, Rob?
Yeah, I heard you. That's second by Luis.
Yeah.
All right. So Liz motions 4%. Luis seconds. Discussion on this motion. I'll just say for my part, I don't know that I can to support that number, but I also understand where we're at. I have thoughts too. I haven't put forward a proposal yet. I wanted to let you guys make one and see how it played out. So I'll step back. Any other members of the board want to have their say on this one before we take a vote? All right, hearing none.
I think it's fair. I was just waiting to see if anybody else had anything to say. I think it's a fair compromise. I
think so too. And again, we have to listen to the public, and we are part of the public as well. So I think it's very fair.
I do.
Otherwise, we're back here again.
Well, I certainly agree that we have to make a cut that's sufficient to make sure that we're not back here again.
Right.
We will be back.
It's a judgment call as to where exactly that number is.
Exactly.
What the number is. Yep.
We have to listen to what people have spoken.
Sure, I agree with that. And I mean, you could interpret the results and the comments. We're all interpreting that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? To me, it doesn't say 4%, but it also doesn't say, make another minor cut and then get rejected again. I'm listening. I just don't necessarily go in the same place you're going with it.
Bill's
But,
looking.
Does anybody?
Bill has a question.
Yep.
It was not a question. It's just a comment that I'm kind of repeating myself. I still think 4% doesn't even come close to covering the cost increases they had this year. So I know that we have to cut. I'm not blind to that. I'm just saying, can we be reasonable and at least try and come close to covering some of the cost increases they have? I mean, obviously they're not going to get a teacher, not going to get a lot of other things that they would like. But I think we have to be responsible as far as covering increases that they have no control of.
Bill,
I think you all know that 4% doesn't do that.
I'm not, Bill, I like to say I'm not quite sure if it does or it doesn't, but we don't know. We don't know.
We know.
So we're going with what we have to go with. Honestly.
We're going with the motion.
Nick had raised his hand, so I just want to make sure he has his.
I'm just curious. I want to make sure I'm tracking my numbers right. We got federal funding for a certain amount. We got our budget increased.
State.
What?
Do you mean the state funding?
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to be clarified. I don't mean to interrupt. I apologize, but the 80,000.
No. I appreciate that. Yeah. I just want to see where we stand at a total impact to taxpayers and how much total impact to taxpayers each hypothetical number would be. And I just want to make sure I'm tracking the math correctly. So I want to make sure we're kind of assessing, like, hypothetically speaking, what's our current mill rate? What would each of these number impacts be to the mill rate for the town?
So if my math's right, this is about a $265,000 cut to the ask, right? To get down from 450 to the 182. If you plug that number into the mill rate chart and you take off that amount, I suspect we're not going to be quite flat, but it's going to be a very small increase. Hang on one moment. All right. So if we plug that in, the mill rate would actually drop. That's not the total amount to be raised by taxation number, because that and the mill rate aren't the same because the grand list changes. So everybody understands. By my math on my spreadsheet, the total to be raised by taxation, if we went with a 4% increase to AES, the total to be raised by taxation number for the town of Andover this year would be plus 0.37%. And that's before RAM. That's before RAM does what they do.
That's before RAM, which is another $100,000 easily.
Now, and to be fully fair and transparent, others have brought this up, so I'll hit the point too. That there are numbers in this budget for on the revenue side that almost assuredly go away next year. You know, the state aid, the supplemental state aid figure, for instance, you don't expect them to necessarily do that again. And the RAM offset is a one shot. So we have to consider that holistically.
Right. It's really a kind of a separate, in my opinion, it's a separate discussion. How we pay for it, how the taxpayers pay for it is separate from how much money they're going to get to spend.
I mean,
I can appreciate you wanting to know.
Focus on the expenses.
Okay.
Because the expenses stay there year after year.
Right. They're not going away.
Yeah. Right.
It just helps kind of get me a full picture, though, because we're going to put this information in front of the community. So I like to get the full picture. I just got notification too. People are in the waiting room.
Oh, apologies. I keep admitting people and then I don't always see. Yep. Hopefully that I just admitted everyone. Yeah, I understand focusing on expenditures. I mean, to me, I look at both sides. You got to look at that. As to budgets don't come down, they are sticky for sure. We have seen them come down, but that was in the context of the enrollment decline we had. So yeah, I understand. If you have the 258 RAM offset disappear and the 80,000, you know, it was 98, but 80,000 of it was earmarked for education disappear starting out next year, that's an issue. So again, this is a little steep for me, but I understand where you're at. I just wanted to give everybody what the number was. So, you know, and especially since Nick asked. So that's the math that, as I see it, at 4%, you'd be at an AES budget of about 4.75 million, 4,748,000 and change. That's the number that 4% would produce. That produces a mill rate, if my calculations are correct, of 31.4 and an increase to taxation of, you know, and again, including those one-shot revenue items of less than 0.5%. So that's what we're talking about. Do we have further comments or should we take a vote on this motion?
Let's take a vote.
Right.
I'm good with taking a vote. Should we take a vote on taking a vote?
No, I don't want to be here until 11 o'clock. Thanks.
All in favor of taking a vote?
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead. I'll start with Kim.
Yes.
Kim is a yes. Louise.
Yes.
Is a yes. Liz, it's your motion. I assume you're a yes, but
I'm a yes.
You're a yes. All right.
I'm a yes.
Bill.
No.
Bill is a no. Nick.
No.
No. Heather.
No.
No. And I too am a no, but I do want to keep this discussion going because I think there's a place we could meet in the middle and find a way.
I think I just say really we need to find a number that's going to pass. For some people, no matter what that number is, they're going to vote no. I feel like. So
that's always the case.
Right. So we have to come up with some reasonable number that we want it to pass.
So, okay. We've talked about 3.5. We've talked about 4. I mentioned, we talked about in the past, we've talked about 7.5.
That is what we sent to the board of ed. The 7.5 was this board's recommendation.
That was the original recommendation. Obviously, a lot of water's gone under the bridge since then. I would say, just for the edification, did I tell you guys, because I did the math on the 7.5, what that would be? Did I share that?
No.
I think that's an increase of 342, 409. That's what I'm getting. Instead of the 448 that they're at. So that would be about that's a little over $100,000 cut from the current ask, which would be a little over $150,000 cut from the original ask. If that's deemed insufficient, then the question becomes, is there something that we can find between the motion that just failed? And again, I would just urge everybody to look at referendum results as if it's a complete landslide like you have in Hebron, that was 75-25 when they voted Ram down the first time. When we're at 56-44, it's a clear no, and we have to make cuts for sure. But it also isn't something that where I want to go all DEFCON 1 on the budget. So in between there, somewhere, what can we find? What can we do? And can we maybe get to more than 4 votes? That would be even better. I'd love it if we could. None of us will be thrilled, right? Because some of us are starting at 3.5. Some of us are starting with, 7.5, 8 in our heads.
Well, Rob, I think it's fair to say though that we're not starting there because of what we feel. We're starting there because we work for the taxpayers, and that's been their general consensus to us. So,
well, I mean,
it sounds kind of personal sometimes when those words are thrown out at me. I'm here representing everyone in the town of Andover.
As am I. I'm not trying to.
There's a lot of people that support the education.
I'm not personally attacking you.
And Bill, I support it as well.
I'm not personally attacking you, Kim, and I really genuinely don't know where my words went wrong there, but I'll try and tighten that up. I am not attacking anybody, and I'm not saying that anybody here is, off on their own personal thing. That we're all trying to respond to the town.
So can I ask? So we sent to the Board of Ed 7.5, and we just said no to the 4. So are you saying the 7.5 will probably be a no for a lot of people? So we're trying to get somewhere between 7.5 and 4.
I don't know. I mean, I personally would be okay. I mean, 7.5 represents another $100,000 cut. Like I said, a little bit more. So the question becomes, what is that? We made a $50,000 cut. That wasn't enough. If we tack another $100,000 cut on top of that, we're at 150 from the original ask. If we don't think that's enough, okay, what is the number? And this is a judgment call. This is we don't know 100%.
Get everyone to go with 5%. Does that work for us?
I'll do the math.
5%.
Before we do the math, Heather, Nick.
Well, no, I need to see the math. So
yeah, I don't know what.
There's almost 400 people that voted yes in that budget. Almost 400 people. So it's not like it's a town-wide referendum against the school. I mean, you guys act like the town spoke and everybody said no. There's 400 people that said yes.
I have for 105. I have that's a 4.79 budget. So it's about $269,000 cut from the original.
Sorry, I was doing it the other way around. I was looking at what the increase would be from last year. I got 228.
228.
Yeah. $228,000 increase. Yeah.
So that would be a little less than, that would be, close to half of where we are now. Because we were at 9.8, right? The referendum that just failed. AS was at a 9.8% increase. So a 5% increase is, roughly speaking, cutting down in half. Yikes. Okay. Let me ask this. Yeah, I mean, gosh. I admit my thoughts on this are unsettled, and I'm trying to work my way through it.
Would anybody entertain 6%?
I'm just doing the math on what to see what that does. I mean, yeah, equals 1.06 times that. And then we have equals that minus. So yeah, that'd be an increase of just shy of 274, which yeah, that would get them to 4.8-ish, 4.8, 4,839,389 is what I get. I don't know why our numbers don't exactly match how they're.
Rob, are you referring to the 5%?
No, Bill asked about 6, so I was running the numbers on 6.
So
5%, sorry, 5% was the number we were talking about earlier, the 228 increase, 228, 273.
Yep. So
I
the
mean-
original ask was 499. Okay, so $500,000 basically.
Yeah, basically 500. Yep.
So 250,000 would be half of that. So
Would be
that's
about, and that should be
between.
about 5.5, right? Because it was originally
Between
11%.
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was
Oh
just
no, that's fine. I would feel successful at 5.5.
I would feel successful at 6. And I wouldn't feel successful at 6. I feel that
we could stomach 6.
Cut, but I gotta go to sleep at night and know that I didn't totally, just screw our kids over here. So I would feel, I don't feel good at 6, but I know we got to pass something. So that'd be my number. And I'm still not gonna sleep tonight.
I'm not going to sleep tonight, no matter what happens. And again, we have to remember how we got here. We got here because they didn't listen to the voters last year. And so now the hard discussion has to happen.
Bottom line
that's
is
not our fault. That's not our fault.
No, it's not, Liz, but it's not a, we can punish the Board of Ed and Val for not doing what you think is the right thing. But the bottom line, the only people that lose are the kids. We have to do what is right for the kids. That's what we have to do. What is the right thing for our children?
Yeah.
I don't think a 5.5%. I don't think a 5.5% increase is going to hurt any children. I really don't.
I agree with that. I agree.
I agree.
It doesn't cover the cost.
I think.
Can I?
We don't know that.
I want to pull this together here, and because I don't, guys, we're relitigating stuff. Like we know where everybody stands, right? The question is, can we compromise at 6 or 5.5 and send this thing to referendum? And I think at those numbers, at that level, it's a passable budget. I really do. That's a significant cut from where we are. It's a much more significant cut than we made last time. And again, we're looking at, we need to move some votes for sure. But that is a significant move. Either one. All right. I would throw my weight behind the 6. I'd love to see we get to 4, 5, 6, 7 votes for that. If we can't, we can talk about it some more for sure. But what I don't want to do, guys, is have a bunch of crosstalk again about who cares about the kids and who doesn't, or who cares about the town and who doesn't. We all care about the town. We are all here.
Absolutely.
Because we do. All right. And that's why we spend hours doing this, right? So it's just so stipulated, right, that we all care.
I'd like to make a motion. May I make a motion?
By all means, make a motion.
I'd like to make the motion to go 5%. Because that's a compromise from what the town is talking to us and what other people are saying. And I think that's very fair.
There's a $220,000 cut from the current ask, roughly. Just FYI.
Okay.
Informational.
Okay.
It's not an attack, right? I want everybody to be
I know.
clear. Okay. Do we have a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
You'll second it, Kim. Okay. Louise moves for 5%. Kim seconds it. Yeah, we've been talking about this. You know, I'm a lot more comfortable at 6 than I am at 5. I don't love either number, but I'll let the chips fall where they may. And I think we should, unless there's anybody else who wants to pipe up, let's call for a vote on this one.
I don't know if I just wanted to share some of the thought process I was working through. I don't know if now's the appropriate time or not, but I just went through the sheet that Liz sent out, which has some actuals and expenditures year to date. I kind of did my quick level assessment. It looks like we have a balance of what each one's going to be at the end of the year. It looks like we have total benefits. I did some math just based on this because this is the numbers I have in front of me right now. It looks to keep it, according to my high level assessment. What I did is I anticipated $160,000 ish increase to the benefits. If we take that account and multiply it by 21%, my numbers could be a little off. I'm welcoming input. The psychologist, which we lost a grant for, is $45,000, and I got another $90,000 in salary increases. That brought my total up to a $295,000 increase, and that to me would be kind of similar to what, and I'm sure I'm forgetting stuff in there, but that to me would bring us to what Bill kind of mentioned earlier, which is an equivalent thing for our schools.
And
so I just
that is roughly at the 6% level. By the way, it's 6% is like a 273 increase. So if you're at 295, 300, it's a little over 6. And that's back of the napkin math, everybody, obviously. But thank you, Nick, for doing that.
Yeah, that's the only way I could do it, and I just wanted to like kind of go through, look at it. Again, I'm probably missing stuff, but this is the information I have in front of me. And this is kind of what I was just doing and to help support conversation.
Thank you, Nick, for that. It's unfortunate that we don't have all the information we need to make a really valid type of decision. I mean, we're just speculating. But thanks for the math.
All right. So yeah, we have the 5% motion on the floor. Thank you, Nick, for that. Do we have any further thoughts, or why don't we go ahead and call for a vote? All right. All right. Bill.
No.
Bill's a no. Kim.
Yes.
Liz.
Yes.
Louise.
Yes.
Right. Heather.
No.
Oh my God. Who did I miss? Nick.
Nick.
Sorry.
No.
You were just talking. I missed you. No. All right. And it doesn't matter what I do, actually. I mean, well, if I vote yes, it passes, but I'm going to go ahead and vote no on that one. But I'm going to follow it by saying, let's try the 6% and see if we can get.
Is that a motion, Rob?
I'm gonna follow that. Yeah, I will make that motion. 6%. To be clear, I want to do the math for you guys. Again, by my math, using the spreadsheet, the last spreadsheet I had from Lisa, and Lisa, you can correct me if my numbers are off at some point. Please tell me. But at 6%, what I get is 273,927 as the increase. 273,927.72. That's keying off last year's number, which hopefully is accurate in this spreadsheet. So it's about a $274,000 increase. It is slightly above, but just slightly, half of the original ask. And as we've talked about 5.5 as well, I understand. I'm going to try the 6. We'll see where we go. I do think it's a significant increase. I think it is responsive. It is, even if it isn't the 3.5, 4 level, I think it is significant, and the Board of Ed will have some serious work to do if we pass that through. They'll have to make some significant, they'll almost certainly have to make staffing changes. So I don't think that's a minor thing. So that's my proposal. I make that motion. Does anyone want to second it?
I'll second it.
That, given it was your idea, that makes sense. Further discussion on this? I don't want to shut anything down. Does anybody?
I don't think it'll pass. I don't think it'll pass.
You don't support it at the 6% level?
I don't know if it'll pass the town. I think the further we go up from, I wonder if it'll pass. I think if we stay closer to the 5.5, maybe. But I just don't know if the taxpayers will vote for it. I mean, we won't know until it goes.
I mean,
don't want to go above 6.
Here's my thought.
I don't want to.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't want to go above 6.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't. But I don't think. I mean, the higher we go, the less likely it's going to pass the town anyway. So.
Oh yeah.
I think 6 is probably the max that we could possibly get to pass.
Hang on a second here.
Yeah, that's just my opinion based on.
What's the difference between +6 and +5.5 dollars, dollar-wise? Like 20-something thousand?
Sorry, I have crud. I did 5 and I did 6. So 5's 228-ish, 6 is 274-ish. So you're
every 1% is $50,000.
Yeah. I mean, 40.
So like
last year's school budget was 4.5 million and change, right? So every percentage point is 45,000 and change.
So it's about $25,000 difference between 5 and
22,827.
Yep.
Sorry, what was that, Lisa?
22,827 is the difference between the two.
Thank you.
Yep.
That's the difference between.
I mean, we're down to we're pretty close here. We're pretty close here in terms of what we're talking about, whether we're at 5.5 or at 6. And I think we're
What is the difference again from 5.5 to 6?
$22,827.
That was muffled. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
22,827.
The other number I think that might be just helpful for the discussion is what cut does, if we passed at 6, what does that represent? What cut does that represent from the current ask? In other words, after the prior cut. So they're at like 450 right now for an increase after we made that $50,000 cut last time. This would represent a further cut of about 175. 174,261 is what I get. So just to be clear, this cut is over triple the cut we made last time. I'm not saying that it's going to satisfy, it would satisfy everybody. I'm not making prognostications about vote results, but what I will say is I don't think that can be just viewed as ignoring what happened. It's a $50,000 cut plus $175,000 cut. Now we're at having cut them about 225 if we were to pass this, which is, I think, a significant whack at that budget. And I understand everybody's thoughts on how we got here and where we're going. I do. Sorry. So that was just points of clarification so we understand the numbers and what we're looking at doing. Oh, I'm sorry. I have people in the waiting room again. Goodness gracious. People keep joining. All right. Do we have any further discussion or do we want to take a vote on the 6? Before we move on, I don't want to cut anybody off. Further thoughts? This is a big deal. All right. Then I will call for a vote. I'll start with Liz.
Can I?
What? Sorry.
Okay, can you remind me who motioned? I'm trying to keep track of this stuff.
I made the motion and Bill seconded it.
Okay. Second. Okay.
Apologies for the glare behind me, by the way.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. We will go around. I'll start with you.
No, don't start with me.
Okay, I won't start with you. I'll I'll start with Bill. How about that? We'll make it easy.
Make it easy. Yep.
Yes.
Bill is a yes. All right. I will go to Nick. Nick, you're muted.
Can I have a go back too?
Okay. Very well. I'll go to Kim.
Give me a minute, please.
Okay. You ponder. Everybody ponder. Put your thinking caps on. Okay, so we have one yes in Bill.
Well, we have you. You're a yes, I'm sure.
Well, I made the motion, so you can pretty much figure what I'm going to do, but I haven't voted yet. But if you want, I'll throw it on the record. I'll vote yes. So there, 2. All right, Louise.
Heather? Oh, Louise.
I'll say no.
Okay, Louise is a no. Now I want to ask for volunteers. Who's ready to vote?
I'll say yes.
You'll say
I'll
yes.
say yes. Yep.
So we're at 3. We got 1 no. And we have some people who are really trying to decide. And I don't want to rush you, but I also want to make a decision.
Rob, I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I think that that's the stage for more problems down the road financially.
Understood. We're 3-2.
I think I'm going to say no to. I agree. I would be more inclined with 5.5.
You want
And
5?
I'm sorry if that sounds petty, but
we all draw a line somewhere, Liz.
yeah, my high point in my mind was like, okay, I'll go to 5, but I'm willing to. Yeah, 5.5 is like in my brain. So, and I don't mean to poo-poo anybody else's point, but
No, we all do that. I came into this meeting higher, so don't worry. Who's left? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Me. I shot myself in the foot. I'm going to say yes. I think I thinking it over, I think it's a fair compromise between the 2 different levels. So I'm going to say yes.
Apologies. So that's 4-3.
is that everyone?
That is everybody. I would have loved if we could have. Yeah. Anyway, so that's 4-3. So me, Nick, Bill, and Heather are yeses.
So 6% passes. Okay.
6% passes. As I understand it, Lisa, you can double check my math on this. As I understand it, that brings their increase down to just shy of 274. 273,927 is what I get. Can you double check my math on that, please?
She's shaking her head yes, but you're muted, Lisa.
Yeah. Sorry. 4,839,390. Rob, is that what you got?
What? Oh, sorry. You're looking at the total. You're looking at the total. I apologize. I was looking at the increase.
Yeah.
I got 4,839,389.72.
Okay, so I rounded to 390. Yep.
Okay. So that is where we are now at. Let me look at this. Well, I'm not going to, you know what? I'm not going to mess with the spreadsheet for a second. We'll let Lisa change
Well,
the
I was going to
spreadsheet.
go into the mill rate and
Yep.
see what that
That's
did
the
for
document.
total.
My version of that is what I've been playing with to do all the percentages because it's the easiest document to work with. But yes, by all means, you can let me know what that means in terms of mills and this and that and the other.
All right, so I have a total budget of 13,358, 338,412.
Can you say that one more time? 13, 3.
338,412. Let me double check that. $13,338,412.
Rob, do you have your mill rate calculated?
I have my mill rate chart up, but I'm working on the AAS line now. Checks out at 6%, the 4,839,389.72. And I just want to make sure that propagates accurately to the total be raised by taxation number. because I'm not sure that it is automatically doing that. So just bear with me for a second. Total, yeah, there we go. Minus K33. Yeah, I don't think that, okay. I don't think it's automatically propagating. What is the total expenditure number you have, Lisa?
13,338,412.
Okay. So if I plug that in, I'm getting a total be raised by taxation increase of 1.28 and a mill rate of 31.68. Is that what you're getting?
No.
Okay. So something I must have done something wrong. Let's find it.
To be raised by taxes?
What to be raised by taxes? I'm now getting 10,131,759.
Correct. What were the other figures you said? I have 31.68 for 31.68 for a mill rate.
So do we. So do I. We're there.
And 0.3%.
Yeah, that's a 0.3% increase in the mill rate. But I also calculated the increase in total be raised by taxes from last year, and that's 1.28. The reason they don't match being the grand list and things like that.
Right.
Revenue.
Okay.
So, I mean, just to be clear, from the mill rate standpoint, that's a pretty big change. We are well under the motor vehicle cap level. We don't have to worry about that if this were to pass. And bear in mind, again, everybody, Ram's going to have another cut at their ops budget. So that is going to go to referendum. We have more items on our old business to attend to. We have review of budget.
When would that referendum be, Rob?
That is a good question.
June 12th.
2 weeks?
June 12th.
June 12th.
Thank you, Liz.
When would the town meeting be? No, is that the town meeting or the referendum vote?
Town meeting would be next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
June 2nd.
Excuse me. I thought the referendum would be the 19th.
I'm sorry, you're right.
Check with Roberta.
Oh, wait.
She said 2 weeks, which would be the 26th. I'm
sorry. Wait a minute. I take it back. I think it's June 16th is the referendum.
June 16th will be the referendum.
2 weeks after June 2nd.
Correct, Liz. The 16th.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I misspoke.
No worries.
So the
Because it's always on.
It's always on Tuesday.
Before that, 1 week before that would be the town referendum.
Town
meeting.
No, town meeting will be this following Tuesday.
This coming Tuesday. Okay.
I think it's pretty fast.
Which is the 2nd? Is that true? June 2nd.
Now, then I guess the question
I can confirm the 16th from Ram's perspective too. That's what we're hearing from Ram.
As the referendum. By the way,
referendum.
Just really quickly, since you're speaking anyway, when is the next Ram Board of Ed meeting?
Monday.
So we would know after Monday night going into Tuesday town meeting what you guys do.
We have one scheduled for Monday and one for Wednesday. We hope not to need the Wednesday one.
All right. Well, here's hoping you guys reach consensus Monday night.
Yep. Monday is we have to have a public meeting, not just a public meeting, but a
hearing.
It's more like a hearing. We have to have that, and then we're going to follow it with a board meeting. And if we can get consensus there from between those two, we'll have a budget for you that night.
Okay, great. Thanks, Scott. All right. Sorry, I'm not opening it up to full public comment, but I know he's on the board and I just wanted to get the dates right. So my hope would be that going into our next town meeting, we might be able to inform the public as to what Ram did, but we don't know that for certain. Okay. So, teacher, my brain is full, but no, we have to go on. Old business. Well, we have, I don't see, I see review of budget to actual as the next.
Sorry.
Yep. We do have a packet here. I've been trying to catch up on emails and, and work and everything like that. So I haven't reviewed the budget to actual going into this meeting. I just didn't have time. Did any of you have the opportunity to do that?
I didn't either, to tell you the truth. I mean, maybe we could look at lines that look like where we're over real quick. and just see if it makes sense.
Sure.
Unless anybody else has some strong opinions.
No, that sounds good.
That makes sense to me.
So going down, the first place where I see where we're negative is in the community center. And we understand why that is.
We had a situation with the community center director.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Right.
So we're
So we
essentially
understand that.
paying two people, right?
We were.
We were, yeah. That's been rectified at
It's
this
not
point.
that. It's not that we were. We had to pay the community center director for the time that she was off.
Right. Yep. Okay. And then the other one is the town garage, and that was, we're over by, well, it's 1.23.7%. It looks like we're over. Nope. Computer supplies, we're over in office supplies, and we're over in fuel oil.
Fuel oil. Mm. Now,
I mean, the
aren't we
office supplies
usually
is
locked in on fuel oil?
Not to a point. You got past using up what you used up, and then it goes to market rate.
Oh, I see. So if we consume too much, we kick off the lock-in?
Yep.
Oh my God. So we're
Well, this is
12,000
a
over.
bad time to be buying diesel. So.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Ouch. Okay.
So that is where.
And
that
we're already
ends.
locked in for next year, right? So that's a set amount as well?
Yes.
I mean, a
but
set
again-
amount in terms of gallons?
Yeah, or no price.
Well, no. If I'm understanding correctly, it's both. That if we utilize too many gallons, we use up our lock-in, which is what we're talking about now. So that would be the same case next year. So I hope we adjusted that. But if we didn't, we didn't. But there's an example of we have to make sure that we are locking in for, I don't know how much leeway we have with the oil company, with whatever consortium we use for our amount of lock-in, if that makes sense.
Well, I could be wrong, but the reason we went over this year is because we used so much for the storms.
Yeah. No, we had a tougher snow year than usual.
Right.
So that makes sense.
And then everything that's happened in the economy, that hasn't helped either.
Well, sure.
And we didn't know that. Yeah, we didn't know that. I don't think we knew that when that contract was negotiated. In fact, I think
we have to do our best. I mean, the contract gets negotiated, it's already, I think, for next year. So anyway, I was just asking. All right. So go on, Liz. I apologize.
Okay, so going down the old firehouse, we're over, but by $4,000, $4,700. Wait
a minute. No, that's total facilities. The fire.
Total facilities.
Yeah.
Total facilities.
That's the subtotal down there. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So overall in that facilities category, although the town garage is at 123.7%, our total percent of budget is 112%.
Right.
Am I reading that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The total facilities, is 112. So we are over, but and
we knew we were over in snow removal.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see. P&Z commission's way up. If memory serves, that's because there's a dispute. I could be wrong.
Where's that?
Are you saying P&Z or are you saying town attorney?
No,
Town attorney's
I scroll. That's up too, but I was scrolling past that. I'm on page 6, but.
So P&Z's page 6, that's over by 6,500 plus. And where's the town attorney?
Wait a minute. What am I looking at here? Over budget. Oh, I see. Okay. Yep. Town attorney's back up. Sorry. You'd have to back up to
page 5.
5, I think.
Page 4. Page 4.
4. Yeah.
Top middle of the page.
Totally skimmed by that.
Yeah. Under facilities, a few lines. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I think that's why we raised him up this year, because
We knew.
it was coming.
That's not for the town attorney. There are items in there related to other attorneys that have dealt with issues that we've had to deal with related to
HR and things.
other items. Yeah.
Okay.
HR issues related to community center director, so on.
Yep.
And then you have the whole assessor's legal, which is related to legal proceedings that we have to verify if we got our money back.
Got your money back.
So the line 107-312-5302 assessor legal.
Yeah.
And they had some cases where they had to fight for the assessed value that they have. So we have to determine if there's any of that money that is potentially coming back. So we're way over budget on that because of the legal fights with the assessor, and we've just got to look at that line item.
So if money comes back, does it? I guess if money comes back, does it get applied to that? Or?
It would get applied to that account. It might not fall into this fiscal year. Might not get the money back till next fiscal year.
Okay.
But we're going to have to figure out a way of transferring money in to cover that over budget.
Okay.
But you also deserve to know the information that caused that.
Yes.
In detail.
Appreciate it. Yep. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else? Let's see.
I think we've already discussed these public work increases, right? The temporary salary, that's big. The membership fees, that's big. We already discussed those last time, I think.
Yeah, I sent you an email about those.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have anything further on budget actual? Can we move on to check register, guys?
I'm good.
All right, go check register. I just noticed the very first thing on there is a deposit in this. Looks like the stiff account of $750,000. Lisa, can you just give me a quick explainer on that?
Yeah, we had to transfer it in to cover our bills
Transfer it from what, general fund?
from Stiff.
Oh, it's that. Sorry, that's coming
Yeah,
out of
that's from
Stiff?
Stiff into that, right? Because if you look what followed right after it, because don't forget, this is the time of year when we don't have the tax. The taxes are coming in quarterly.
Yeah.
So we're having to wait until they come in again the next quarter.
Mhm.
So you had to pay the two schools. That alone right there is $800,000.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
Bunch of payroll. Anything you want to highlight for us, Lisa? Is there anything that jumped out at you?
No, it's a difficult, I'll say it's a difficult time of year because everyone's trying to figure out what they have left and just trying to keep up. I do have the new assistant treasurer and she's getting right on top of, trying to get everything lined up. It's going to take a little bit, but she's helping a lot with the bills, getting the bills in.
Okay.
Lisa, can you tell me what Halloran and Sage is on April 14th?
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
22,108.
Jeff, do you want to answer to that? Isn't that what you were just talking of?
No, that's
the
Halloran and Sage is the attorney that we have an animal abuse case within the town.
Okay.
Our animal control service is NECOG, and those are primarily bills related to the legal proceedings related to the resident. It is something that totally unforeseen, and it is something that is not productive use of our money. It shouldn't have been spent, but we have to find a better way to deal with those types of cases. So in this case, a dog and 2 frogs were taken from the resident, and they're being kept at NECOG. And these are legal fees related to the disposition of those animals.
It's unfortunate.
Okay.
There was one other one I just saw. Oh, okay, never mind. The memo answered it. Millennium Builders. That's the playground. I assume that's down at
the ball field.
Okay.
Playground, yeah.
By the way, you should take a look down there. I know the Long Hill Bridge is done, but Scott Person and Christine Rendazzo have done a great job shepherding that project through. It should be completed within the next 30 days. It looks great.
It looks
I was
really
just
good.
down there. It looks really good. Yeah, looks really good.
Yeah, I've seen the progress. I haven't seen the latest in the last week or so, but we can still get through there even though the bridge is out, right? The bridge is after.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
you
good.
gotta come up Hindy Road and down Long Hill.
Oh, you got to go that way.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's the only way to
what a
go in.
pain.
Clean.
Oh God! Now I feel bad. Now I can relate to the people on Bunker Hill, what they had to deal with.
Yep. Only they had to go all the way up through Coventry and come down like.
Yep. Oh, those poor people.
Yeah, that was
so
not
how
an
long-
easy detour.
Yeah. How long do you expect, Jeff? How long do you expect that project to last? The bridge.
December. This is supposed to be complete.
It's supposed to be completed this fall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's
he's
not
ready.
not too bad, I guess. It's not years. All right.
Do we have another one of those projects coming down the pike at all? In other words, one of these fully reimbursed, but really big project.
Nothing in the future is going to be fully reimbursed.
Right. I mean, we got big projects like Bosola.
We have town stuff that we get maybe 50%. I think is the match. So what I'm saying is, in terms of the disposition of the money in the fund, that's what I'm thinking about. The once we've closed the books on that bridge, then we have to decide what to do. And look at our funds because we have those needs for bridges and culvert.
There's quite a plan on the culverts that have to be done already. So
yeah, I mean, I think we want to maybe once we get through the budget cycle that we should have a meeting where we mostly go through kind of what's our plan, what's our order of operations here, and where are we in terms of do we need to transfer some money from one to another to properly account for it and to think about how much we can bite off in a given year and prioritize and all that. I know we for years now we've been talking about which one goes first, but looking down the pike, more like 5 years would be good. Does anybody have anything further on the check register?
No.
Nope.
No. Okay.
We are looking dramatic.
Donation request is still on here. Me, I'd like to punt on this again. I just don't think we got too much going on to talk about that anymore. And once Elisa has like 10 minutes of free time, we can revisit that issue and maybe put it to bed. So I would say let's move on from 5D unless anybody objects. Okay, so new business 6A we already moved. So 6B is appointment of auditor required by 5/31/26, which I didn't think I fully realized. we've been using the same auditor for years now. I think we've been pleased. Does anybody have feedback on that? I know in the past we've had trouble even getting other quotes for an auditor to do our books.
My only feedback is I would like them to come and present to us the audit so we can understand it.
Yeah.
We had a meeting last year on it and we haven't had one yet this year. I don't remember at what point in the year we had it. So I would like him to come and do that. And my other question is, right now it's still in draft. When is it finalized? How does it get finalized?
Right. I thought we were really close, but yes, what is that final step?
It is final. Didn't I send it to you, Rob?
You sent me, I know I'm going through my emails. You sent me something. Hold on. I wasn't clear if it was 100% final. Sorry. What would you remember what date that email was? Because I'm going through looking for the email. I just want to make sure. I thought I usually try to send around everything.
Weeks ago, I believe, when we were working on one of the second referendum, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Because I mean, if I didn't send that around to the board, I apologize to you all. I should have forwarded it. Let me take a look.
I can look in my send.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. I see where you sent me charts and revised budget charts, but I'm trying to find the audit. I know you sent it to me, but I'm having trouble finding it.
Yeah, because it was on a Friday or a Saturday or something, and I was working on the charts with you.
Right. And because we were talking about what the potential 24-25 underspend was, or not just underspend. We were over on revenue and underspent a bit.
May 11th.
May 11th. That would explain why I wasn't finding it. There it is. Thank you. Final. Yep, you are correct. Okay. You did send me a final. I'm gonna email this around to the board. Sorry, guys. I apologize. I should have gotten this to you before. I don't think I fully caught that it was the true final. So, sorry. So we do have it. We have it, obviously. Mahoney & Sable has been our auditor now for several years. Actually, probably more than several. I can't recall the last. So we should absolutely have them come in. Typically in the past, I think, obviously we had to wait until they were done. But they're done now. So we could try to tee that up for our next meeting if we could get them to come in. Because I completely agree with you, Liz. That's standard for them to come in.
Yeah, if we could get them to come in June, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Although I'm not sure
I did mention it to him. He didn't get back to me. I did mention it to Michael a couple of weeks ago, back when we had the final.
Liz, if you're going to miss it, if we want to do it in July, I mean, I wouldn't be against that either.
Let's see. Let me look at my calendar. The next meeting is our meeting is June 23rd, right? Is that our next Board of Finance meeting, June 23rd? Or is it?
I have the 24th.
Oh, we're on Wednesdays. Yeah, Wednesdays. Okay, 20. Yeah, I won't be here. I will be in Alabama.
Alabama. All right.
Alabama. So I will not be here for the next month. So
what do we do? Are we always the 4th? We're the 1, 2.
I think we're the 4th.
So like July 22nd would be probably the meeting after that. I don't know if we've even set them all the way that far out, but we could see if we could get them for that. For July 22nd. Lisa, is that something that you're in contact with them, right? Is that
I can ask them again. Yeah. Okay. Yep. I won't be here probably July 22nd, but it doesn't matter. I've looked at it millions of times.
Sure. I mean, I think what it really boils down to, and Liz can speak to this too, is that when we sat down to go through one of the drafts, right? It's easy to get turned around. It's really nice to have the auditor there to answer some questions.
Yeah, that's what I'm used to also. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see if we set that up. Okay. That's a good point, Liz. Thank you. We definitely want to go through that. And I do want to have a sense for what is in those funds and how we can better track them and that sort of thing. And maybe the auditor might have thoughts on that. That might be a good conversation. So, sorry, appointment of auditor, however. So, I mean, unless there's an objection, I mean, I think I can't remember, by the way, and Jeff, chime in here if you can recall, the last time that we actually thought about whether we could change auditors, if there's somebody else out there. My recollection was we were lucky to have them, but you're muted.
I don't think it's something that we look at right now. I think you appoint the auditor for the next fiscal year, and then if it's something that the Board of Finance wants to sit there and consider, then we go out to quote in an appropriate timeline, because if we do it now, we're going to hamstring ourselves.
Right. Fair enough. That's very good. My general thinking on this, just so everybody on the board understands it, is I cannot recall the last time we did that. And it's probably just good practice to do it every so many years, so that we're not just locking ourselves into one auditor, even though I think we're happy with them. So, but anyway, in the interest of moving this meeting forward and doing what we need to do, I'll go ahead and make a motion to formally reappoint Mahoney and Stable Company LLP as our auditor, and this would be for the next fiscal year, or rather the one we're in now, right? The audit would be for 25-26, correct?
Yep.
So that's my motion.
I'll second.
Liz seconds. Very good. Unless there's any discussion, I'll take a vote. Anybody? Going once, going twice. Anybody discussion? No. Okay. Very good. Bill.
Yes.
Nick. You muted.
Yes.
Yes. Kim.
Yes.
Louise.
Yes.
Liz.
Yes.
Heather.
Yes.
And I'm yes. 7-0. Mahoney and Sable will be our auditor again, but we can revisit the issue. And actually, that's something I should try to track down, is how long we've been using them. I think it's been a while now. Okay. Very good. Liaison reports. I don't have anything. The one item that I had from CIP, we already dealt with. The fire department request. Does anybody have anything from any other boards, commissions, etc.? Okay, hearing none. We'll move on to agenda item 8, which is, 8A through E is various meeting minute approvals.
Can I make a motion we pass on this for till next month?
I was literally, you beat me to it.
You, Liz.
It's 9 p.m. and I didn't have a chance to look at them. So yes, I agree.
So from what I understand, I think we can ask Kate to post them, and we can always review them. And if we find changes, then we can send her the changes. I think that's right. And that way, at least they're up there.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting a little down the pike, and you don't want to have it not there for too long. If that's acceptable procedure, and frankly, I haven't thought about it. I'm not against it.
I'll second the motion.
Wait a minute. All right. So the motion, I guess, is to accept that there's a motion, is that we're going to ask Kate to post them in kind of in draft form as they are now, and that if we find revisions, that we'll ask her to make them. All right. Yes. We'll go ahead and say that Liz is proposing that and Bill's seconding it. All right. Call for vote. Nick? Oh, no, you're drinking. I'll pass on you. Kim?
You're drinking?
He was on the job. His water bottle, and I'm like, the poor guy's going to be sputtering. I'm like, vote. He's choking. Anyway, Kim, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. You're a yes. Heather?
Yes.
Okay. Bill?
Yes.
Nick? You're with us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Louise?
Yes.
Liz?
Yes.
And me. Yes. That sounds like a good plan. Are you gonna are you gonna reach out to her, or do you want me to do it? It doesn't really matter.
I can send her an email.
I got work in the morning. If you don't mind doing it, I'd be thrilled. But I don't want to. I can be scatterbrained, and I don't want to miss it.
No, you
Me?
stop.
Never.
Scatterbrained? Come
No.
on.
I don't have anything going on, Liz. You know, it's just.
I know.
All right. So anyway, moving on. So we have board open discussion. I don't know if I think we've talked about a lot, but if anybody has anything else to bring up, now is the time. Otherwise, we'll move on to correspondence and public speak.
I'd like to bring up that Nick has a beautiful sunset. I wish I was where he was.
Where is he? Look at that.
That was in San Diego.
In your mind?
Oceanside. I'm sorry. It was
Okay.
a little north of San Diego.
Yeah, okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's yeah.
Yeah.
Talked
So
out myself.
it's all good. The only correspondence, I mean, we all get emails. We had a letter from the principal about AES. I think we all saw it. I hope we all saw it. It's a little late to get to that, but it's there. I don't know. We've already made our decisions. I hope we made it with that in mind. Made those decisions with that in mind. That's what I had for correspondence, basically. If anybody else wants to bring anything else forward, otherwise, I'd like to move on and do our round of public speak and skedaddle.
Okay.
It'd be nice.
Then this weekend, I'll have to revise the presentation again. Liz, hang in there. We're almost through. I saw
know.
that.
Sorry. I know. Sorry.
It's okay. All right. All right. Let's do public speak. Let's go ahead and go around the room here. Lisa, I'm going to skip you. We've been talking to you all night. All right. So let's see. The first person who's still left on the call is Anna.
Thank you for your discussions. I just no further comment here.
Okay, thank you. Oh, and by the way, before I end the meeting and before I forget, I want to thank everybody from the public who comes and participates. It's helpful. It's good to hear from you guys. So the next one up is Brienne. Going once, going twice. I'm going to move on to Caitlin.
I'm pretty disappointed, as I'm sure you could all imagine. To say devastation would probably be putting it mildly, in terms of what this will mean for how it affects the school directly. Don't really know that 100%, but there will definitely be staff cuts for sure, and it will 100% affect how kids are taught. And to say that you read the letter from the principal and think that what you guys did tonight was keeping in line with that, it's 100% not. The gains that were made by kids in the school this year were directly related to how they're taught and at what level and what interventions are able to be made. The only other thing publicly as a comment, the first selectman did make a comment in regards to how much of certain special education teachers are related to preschool. Just to remind everyone again, I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse, but special education costs for kids over age 3 until they reach kindergarten are the responsibility of the school system and of our town and of taxpayers. Regardless of whether or not we had a preschool, we would still be responsible for those costs. So it doesn't really actually matter what they are or where they are in the budget, or if they're not in the budget and they're under the preschool, we're still responsible for them. Thank you.
Charlene Del Mastro. Going once, going twice. I'm going to move on to Patricia Kelly.
Hi, I'm just not sure how decisions are made when there seems to be a lot of unanswered questions about the schools. I think that if there were more transparency and there were more collaboration between the school and the town, that this budget discussion would not be so difficult. I hope that in the future that there can be more collaboration between the school and the town, because we are all working toward the same goal. Thank you.
Thanks. iPhone 2, aka Kathy.
No comment. Thank you.
Thanks. Elizabeth Partridge.
Yes. First of all, I'd like to thank the Board of Finance for trying so hard. But watching this as an outsider, it appeared that there was compromise on one side only, and that there were board members who spoke about cuts as well as increases, such as the pre-K tuition. But at the end of the day, they would not compromise. And that's how it looked like from an outsider point of view. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Joanne?
Hi, everyone. I'll keep it quick. I just started off saying that, all towns and school systems are going through this. So it is hard. It's so hard, but you've got to try to keep the emotions out of it. And I'm surprised that I am able to do that looking from the outside in. So a couple suggestions, I won't have any. I would think for the transparency, so everyone feels better, why don't you ask next year what Anna had suggested? You don't need any names, but like teacher 1, teacher 2, teacher 3, get those salaries, get the total. This insurance that the town has currently, I'm just looking for change and for cost savings. This is unsustainable. I'd volunteer to try to get really good policies and call around. I mean, if they want to stay in the self-insured business, but a 21% increase on the staff members for the school and the town is going to kill the town. So I'm looking at ways that, cost savings can be done with other things that the town can do. And the audit balances, you guys usually had a final report in April and had a meeting that probably could have been helpful in this process overall. So you could have had that information and known the balances. And lastly, trying to wrap it up really quick, everybody's exhausted. Yeah. Kind of pounding home my fund balance thing that I've always said with savings, because you guys were able to approve a $68,000 invoice or something like that. I don't have it in front of me now for the fire department, simply because you had built up such a high balance there of over $300,000. So you were able to approve that in a meeting. So I'm hoping with fairness in the future, and everybody should take a trip to the fire department. It's beautiful. The vehicles, the building, everything. We've funded that well. So I'm hoping that in the future, maybe some of those fund balances can take a little bit of a cut. Everybody gets upset about any kind of word of cut so that other things can be funded. Thank you.
Thanks, Joanne. Julie.
Hi, as somebody who works in the building, I just want to say, I'm preemptively disappointed and upset in how the cuts are going to affect the students that I see every day. And, the stress that it is going to put on the building to try to make do with what we have been approved. We're grateful for, any increase, but we really needed what we were asking for. And unfortunately, that just wasn't going to happen this year, and I hope that changes in the future.
Thank you. Kathleen?
I'm all set. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to watch your process. Thank you.
Thanks. Kevin?
Yeah, no comment. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks. Next member of the public looks like Marcy.
Hi, no thanks. I don't have anything to say other than the fact that I appreciate all your hard work.
Thanks. Scott.
Sorry, I've got two very quick things to say. First of all, like everyone else, very impressed with how hard you guys work at this. It's not fun, not pleasant, and you're doing a great job. Comments on three things. One, Joanne just talked about being able to negotiate insurance. There are professionals involved in this who are negotiating for a much bigger place than just Andover. This is the best they could do, and it's the same across the nation. Insurance rates are shooting way up, and I know some of the reasons, but not worth going into here. So Liz, we talked over and over. That wasn't Liz. I'm sorry. Louise talked over and over about transparency. I found pretty much all of the information that I heard anybody was asking for available in the public. Wasn't always easy to get to, but the stuff from the board was right there on the board packets. The only thing that you can't find is something they can't legally give us, which is the benefits stuff for the preschool, because it's too small a group. It's against HIPAA and it's against FERPA to actually give out that even collective information. And last one was to Jeff McGuire. We talk about clawing back money and the rate of growth and how terrible it's going to be. It's got to point out that this budget has grown far under the rate of inflation. And again, say we are the lowest per pupil cost, according to the state, of all the elementary districts in the state. There's some weird numbers about preschool, but it's still the lowest. We just did apples to apples, the lowest per pupil cost. So trying to balance the budget on the back of the parents of preschoolers doesn't strike me as a good idea, and probably illegal if you go over the cost of the preschool itself. I know he's trying to give a little to this and a little to that. Scary. Anyway, that's it. Thank you guys again. You worked really hard.
Sharon?
Hi, I'll also just echo some of what other folks said, that I am really disappointed in the cuts to the school budget. It's I can't see any other thing to do other than cut staff. That's what's going to happen. And cutting staff is going to mean larger class sizes, and larger class sizes beyond what the Department of Education recommends for students. We know what that's going to mean. There's going to be an impact to the kids. They're not going to receive the quality education that they've been getting. And I just hope going forward, I don't know what we need to do to get more support from all the boards in town, because that would certainly help. Every year we have a hard time passing a budget. And a lot of it is because, there's not a lot of support from the leadership across all boards in town. And I hope going forward that we can work together to figure out what we need to change to make that happen, because our kids deserve better. Thanks.
Valerie.
Hello. So a couple of things. First of all, we hear the word transparency a lot. I don't think transparency is the issue. I think it's a double standard. A couple of things that were spoken about tonight, insurance, for example. With all the talk about my contract, I've asked over and over again, but where are the town contracts? And my answer is always, well, we're not mandated to post those, so we don't. Yours is mandated. I do think if the town wants to be transparent, that those contracts should be up for everybody to see. Because when we talk about insurance in the 21%, there was a huge expenditure in addition to the salaries of $7,000 for employees who don't take the insurance. And I think that needs to be spoken about. It's difficult, very difficult, when, there's a couple of people on here tonight making difficult cuts. I understand that. To say that they would feel successful if it was lower than 6, and that they didn't think that would affect children. And I think that between the Board of Education and myself and the principal and the school, we do know what's right for children. So I know the other part of the conversation was, we cut you last year and we told you not to hire 2 teachers, and you did. Well, the Board of Education and myself and the staff and the principal, we knew that was what we needed. It was what was right for children. And we had no choice. We had to do that. And you know what? It worked. They thrived this year, and the scores are going to be great. Our children need to have an academically sound environment. And we did that this year. So I felt like we were being punished for
doing what was right for children, in understanding and recognizing that we did need those staff members. And lastly, I know that there was that mailer that went home, and Mr. McGuire, respectfully, you admit that your wife's in the field of education. I know that after the number of years that she's been an educator, she got top step in her town. And so for us in the town of Andover to say that teachers that teach there make too much money, their contracts should be lower, that kind of says we don't value and appreciate them. And CEA on a state level will dictate that teachers' contracts need to be fair all around. And if they're not, they take us to mediation. And they do that because they want to make sure that teachers everywhere are getting a fair salary, whether it's where your family works, Mr. McGuire, or where our staff works. So I think everybody should know that there is a standard there. And in our town, I think we have a double standard. And moving forward, I would like that not to continue. Thank you.
Okay, and then the last person I see is just a phone number. 860-680-4212.
That's me. This is Sharon. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Well, I understand the negotiations this evening. I too am very disappointed in the result. I don't believe that the referendum results yesterday mandated such a drastic cut and basically a 0% mill rate increase. I completely don't think that that was called for. And I'll just echo what everybody else has said. The result is of what you've done tonight makes me very concerned about the effects it's going to have on the students and the teachers, whether we'll be able to keep all of them, and ultimately the school. And for anybody who doesn't believe that having a good school is critical to having a thriving town, you need to reconsider, because your property values are based on the fact that we have such an excellent school. We are now the lowest per pupil spending of elementary schools amongst all elementary districts, elementary only districts. That can't help but have an effect on our school, and therefore on our town, and therefore on your property values. So please consider that when you're just looking at the school, its budget, and a budget increase. It affects you, even if you don't support the school. Thank you.
All right, I made it through. I know there was a person or two as I went through that, they didn't respond, so I skipped them. If any of you who got skipped, speak up now or forever hold your peace. All right, hearing none. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make the motion to adjourn.
Bill moves to adjourn. Any second?
I'll second it.
Louise got there first.
Uh-huh.
I hope you feel better, Louise. I'll take a vote on that. We'll just go around. Bill's first on my screen. Bill?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Nick?
Yes.
Liz?
Yes.
Heather?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Louise?
Yes.
That's 7-0. We adjourn. Like I said, everybody, I will work on the presentation for the meeting. Lisa, you'll get the updated spreadsheets up on the website when you can.
Yeah, I'm not.
Thank you.
Yep, in these 2 days, but I'll get it to Kate tomorrow.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good
This
night.
was a tough one. Good night.